Yeah, let's go ahead. We're going to talk about account abstraction, which is great. We were just talking about decentralized identity immediately before this. Parth, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and your project, please?
Yeah, man, absolutely. You guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Great. Yeah. So, hey guys, thank you for inviting me. I'm Parth. Super quick bullet point blurb on myself. I've been in crypto. I was mining ETH back in 2014. Post that, I was contributing to Litecoin Foundation. Post that, I built and sold an esports company, and did a bunch of cool stuff in Web3, Web2, and now we're all about Web3 UX and AA account abstraction is it's a huge part of what we do. So I'm super excited to dive in. Honestly, I would let Rhic sort of introduce AA because that's what these guys work on. And then I'm happy to go into like some of the use cases that we've had, and these are like very novel use cases. So yeah, man.
Okay.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. Hey, Rhic, go ahead. Why don't you just introduce yourself and your project real quick?
Sure. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Parth, for that. My name is Rhic. I lead BD at Biconomy. Quick intro is like I've been here at Biconomy for almost 2 years now, and we are essentially building the account abstraction stack, right? The entire account abstraction stack, right from smart accounts to paymasters to bundlers. We've been working on the ERC 4337 spec since before it went live, with the entire intention of simplifying blockchain experiences for end users as much as possible, and also giving developers the right tools to be able to build these experiences with.
All right, excellent. Let me go ahead and take it over to Abbas. Do you want to introduce yourself and your project, please?
Hey, absolutely, Justin. Thanks so much. First of all, thanks for having me. Like I said, my name is Abbas. I've been in this space for about 3 or 4 years now. I started with investing in crypto, NFTs in general, and then moved on to working with projects on their GTM. I come with a lot of community and marketing experience, which I did in Web2 for 5+ years. And over the last 1.5, 2 years, I spent time working with Super Team DAO, leading the bounty program, being an early member, and so on. And simultaneously also working with a lot of Web2 companies in India, uh, consumer companies, giants in the space that wanted to explore Web3, but were often stuck in ways that they could not figure out how the UX could be improved, how do you figure out gas payments, etc. A couple years early into this, right? So did that for a fair bit, and currently I am working with Hashed Emergent, which is a fund launched by Hashed, the Korean fund, and we're focused on emerging markets. And yeah, happy to be here.
Excellent. Let's go over to DV. DV, why don't you just introduce yourself? We're going to launch right into the questions. We got a lot of territory to cover.
Hey, hi guys. This is DV. I might have actually joined on time. I might be in the next panel. So, just briefly about me, I'm a serial entrepreneur from last 15 years, and we have been building real estate products. So, we do real world stuff with NFTs. So, we have token gated NFT houses. We have a cool product that's called as Zo House BLR, and I see people over here who have been frequent visitors, are our members as well. So yeah, that's briefly about me and Zo.
Okay, perfect. Let's go ahead back over to Rhic. Rhic, right now, your regular consumer, your retail investor, has a lot of reason to feel maybe a little bit uncomfy with the goings on of the past year or two. You've got Sam Bankman-Fried sitting out there. You've got Terra Luna. All these all these colorful disasters in which surprisingly centralized, surprisingly low security on a certain point of view, ventures were guilty of some malfeasance and, allegedly walking off with quite a number of people's money. Is account abstraction, part of this push towards decentralization that's meant to address that kind of those kinds of FUD concerns?
Yep, that's a great question. So I think it's interesting that you mentioned FTX because the reason people lose money in centralized exchanges is essentially that they are centralized, right? There is trust assumptions on a single party, in this case, very much a single party, and that was SBF. And excuse me.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. But
Do
the
you want a
point is,
second? Okay,
yeah,
go ahead.
that's fine. But the point is, like, having these people come over and use decentralized exchanges right now with, let's say, the MetaMask experience, or even like any other wallet, right? You come in, you
Mhm.
create a wallet, you have to deal with seed phrases, you have to learn with gas what these different RPC even means, how much gas you're supposed to pay, these different networks having different gas units, and all of these complex things that are absolutely new for people, right? So having
Mhm.
something like account abstraction essentially abstracts all these blockchain specific complexities away. Increasingly, we're starting to see the first applications that are built on top of account abstraction. And if you've used
Right.
any of these applications, you'll see that the UX is essentially very similar to what you would get in a centralized exchange, but with none of those pitfalls, right? There is no one party that is custodying your funds. Your funds are still with you, even though you don't need to worry about like backing up a 24-word seed phrase. Your funds are still secure. They're secured by smart contracts. And as a user, you not only have full power over everything you do, but you also don't need to deal with the blockchain specific complexities, right? So I think account abstraction is like this massive push, not from like a DeFi kind of protocol standpoint, but purely
Mhm.
from how you as an end user interact with the blockchain and how those interactions can be made much more simpler and intuitive for them.
Mhm. Well, Abbas, isn't it meant to apply to a certain amount of privacy and security to the user as well? I agree with what Rhic said. Certainly, at the center of whatever they wanted to say during the bull run, when everybody was happy all the time, and FTX was the darling of the Web3 world. Little did we know that there was one. Particular grifter sitting at the center of it with his cohorts, stealing allegedly really rather a lot of money because there were no checks and balances around him. Is account abstraction in some way meant to protect the consumer as well as protect your identity?
Yeah, I think it's a good start for sure, right? In the sense that I think this is the end game, in some sense, which is you bring blockchain to the ordinary folks because seed phrases are too complex for them. So I think it's a good start to get people accustomed and used to the fact that you can now have a wallet, a non-custodial wallet with you without the uh, complexities around seed phrases and learning about private keys and public keys and so on. So it's a start for a user to then get used to the idea of having non-custodial wallets without feeling intimidated in some senses. And I think that takes away those users that might end up sitting on centralized exchanges and being dependent on someone like an FTX that we have no way of verifying what their end intentions are. So in some senses, I do think that is extremely beneficial, and we have to pick between one of these two things, or actually both. But the two lines of thought you would have is one is UX and one is security. Security is a spectrum, UX is two. There are some trade-offs, and account abstractions fits right in between these two and gives you the sweet spot. So yeah, definitely gets people accustomed to the idea of holding your own wallet and staying non-custodial.
Yeah, even from a security standpoint, right? Um, reason people feel somewhat comfortable with centralized exchanges is that there's two-factor authentication. Even if you forget your password, you can recover it. All these things, and with MetaMask, that just isn't possible, right? But with account abstraction, these are possible. You can recover your private key if you lose it. You can have 2FA built in as a module. So even from like security standpoint, just because your account itself is now a smart contract, you can program it to be like super smart, super cool, have a bunch of features, right? And that makes it super secure as well.
Right, perfect. So DV, who is killing it right now at this? Who do you think is a really good example of someone implementing this very well?
Yeah, I think Biconomy, like, and the guys we have on the panel, I think these guys are obviously, the leading implementations that we see over here. And still, I still think, we are in that phase that even these guys are doing the building blocks and they're probably helping the consumer applications. People like us understand that, hey, why you should not, why you should possibly use account abstraction. We are in that early builder phase, especially with the newer technologies, the newer modules, let's say 6551 and all of the new protocols that do emerge. They do take
Uh-huh.
time to dissipate within the community.
Yeah,
My vote
Rick,
goes to Rhic and Abbas.
Rick, who do you think? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, TV. Rick, who do you think's doing this extremely well right now?
Yeah, there's there's a bunch of people who we are working with that I won't be able to kind of name, but I think a few good examples. Obviously, I think we should let Parth speak about 3 as well in a bit, because these guys are also building something super useful. But yeah, other than that, I think one very good wallet example that you should try out if you haven't already is called Obvious. Obvious Technologies. They've built an amazing, easy to use wallet experience on top of smart accounts, right? And I think it's a testament to what is about to come. And we're going to definitely see more and more of such wallet plays come in. In terms of like outside of wallet as a consumer app, I think CyberConnect is one that we've been working with, and they've also been one of the pioneers for account abstraction, doing a ton of transactions, onboarding people in a simplified sort of manner, giving them the ability to do transactions without worrying about gas and things like that. So yeah, like DV said, I'll definitely echo it. We've been working hard. We've onboarded a bunch of people, but it's still very, very, very early. Even in terms of like our tech stack being complete, I wouldn't say that every feature that I want to see or our team wants to see has been built already. I think that itself is going to take a bit more time. But I think the time for people to start using it has come as well. And we're seeing some really good user-facing applications come up.
Okay, all right, Parth. We'd love to get your take on account abstraction. You know, who's doing this really well right now? Who has a use case where we've already got users that are being protected and served, I guess, by this particular feature?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I'll talk about our company later, but one platform that I really use like all the time. I mean, I've been starting to use it is Beam. It's a web wallet, and they're doing a great job. I think they were like pretty popular on Twitter some weeks ago or like some days ago, and I think they're doing a great job. And similar to that, like what Threely is trying to do also is, we do have a web wallet, but we position ourselves more as like Gmail, think Gmail, and we don't want people to think that okay, this is a crypto wallet. We want people to think that Threely is a name and a password, right? It's like Gmail, and you can take this name anywhere. So under the hood, it is an account. It is a multi-chain infrastructure, but what we have under the hood in the tech is we have like a core chain, and then on that core chain we have AA, right? So AA is definitely powering us big time. And then just to like add to what DB said, and then and in terms of like enterprises as well. So we work, we're very fortunate enough to work with like a huge organization. I cannot name them, but it's to the scale that they lose $1 trillion a year, right? And we're working on a solution with them, and that solution involves account abstraction. So like huge enterprises, they also realize that this is what they need. So yeah, I mean, definitely like Beam is one, Obvious is one of I've been using Obvious, I've seen that. But yeah, I definitely think like seed wallets they're gonna become obsolete unless AA tech is I don't know. I believe if AA tech is successful, then yeah, seed wallets will become obsolete.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much, guys. You know, it is like the speed round oral exam of going through these things, but I think we're trying to get back on our time a little bit more. So, thank you for handling all this the speed pop quiz questions.